We know what knockout of the night was, right? Machida. And then fight of the night was Barnatt. He won fight of the night. Yeah, congratulations. And then submission of the night. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, Mizuko won the... This is what we got so far here. Who has the first question? Go ahead, brother, right here. We got mics, but just yell it out.
The Sexton Andrade fight, a lot of people are saying that should have been stopped in the second round. With the Payne JDS fight, which again a lot of people think should have been stopped.
In the third round.
Do you think we need to look again at the intelligent defense rule with, you know, these two fights going on?
I agree 100%. That fight should have been stopped. It's a fight like that made me not like women's MMA, actually. I saw a very one-sided mismatched fight. You know, that's one of those fights that look pretty good on paper. And in reality, it was a horrible one-sided mismatch. And it should have been stopped, I agree. I said what we should do is we should bring the ref out into the hallway and let somebody punch him in the face for 15 minutes and nobody jump in to help him, just to see what it feels like.
And if I can just quickly ask Luke, you seem to have him beat a couple of times, knocked down, but you didn't get the finish and then you ended up with a submission. Just take us through what was going through your head at that point.
I think I was just a bit overexcited, to be honest. I visualised so many times winning with the right hand, and when I caught him, you know, I thought I'd already won, and I got ahead of myself. But then the second time, luckily, I managed to scramble to his back and finish with a submission, so I was happy.
It looked like he visualized his his celebration many times. He kept trying to do that.
I wanted to look like a badass, you know, not sort out and then just walk away, but it didn't quite work.
Dana, down here to your left. In front.
Hey.
Hey, can you real quick confirm the totals for the bonuses standard?
Yeah, it's 50,000.
50,000. Okay. Take us through the Pearson Gillard fight, and I saw those guys talking to you right after the fight. What were you guys talking about?
Oh yeah. Let me clarify what happened. I asked Joe Rogan to kind of explain everything, and he didn't. Basically, what happened was he was going to be taking a point. They were going to take a point away from Melvin Gillard, and the fight was going to continue. But the doctor stopped the fight on the cut. That's what happened.
So, what is your take on the whole thing? I mean, I had also heard that they're both going to get their win bonus. Is that
correct?
Can you confirm that?
Yeah, that is true. So what happened is, you know, when you come into new markets like this, where you know doctors don't do big fights all the time and things like this happen. I mean. If you saw the cut last weekend in Houston on Diego Sanchez, I mean, it had to be this big above his eye, and the fight continued, and it's the sickest fight I've ever seen. You know, it's an experience. The fight shouldn't have been stopped on that cut, but what are you going to do?
So do those guys get a rematch straight away? Is that
yeah, we'll figure that out and give them a rematch.
And then, real quick, what do you do next with Machida? Because obviously that's a pretty big statement in his first fight in the new division.
Huge. You know, I think. And again, I'm just talking here as a fan, not as a promoter. I think a lot of people want to see him and Vitor Belfort. That would be a fun fight. So Vitor's got to win down in Brazil, and who knows, he could fight somebody else before that. But I'm just saying, as a fan, and speaking for many fans, I bet that's the fight they want to see. At least that's what everybody's screaming at me on the way out of the arena tonight.
Dana, over here, in front of you.
Yep.
To your left.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Do we know exactly what happened with Ryan Jimmo?
No, I don't know, but it looked like either his ACL popped or something popped in his knee, and that just happened in a fight recently too. We just saw here, unfortunate, but it happens.
And a follow-on question for Jimmy: how do you feel like the fight was going for you up to that point?
The fight was going well, according to plan, and I had his number. I was just waiting picking him off and everything. I thought I hurt him with the knee, and he said his ankle went or his knee or whatever, but I don't know. A win's a win.
I've got a question for Luke. Luke, we spoke quite a lot in the build-up to this fight, and you obviously said this was the biggest fight of your career. It was obviously a really impressive win. Where do you feel this puts you in the rankings, and who would you like to fight next?
Well, I think the thing with the UFC is every fight you ever have is going to be the biggest fight of your career. So, I'll probably say that every time. He was ranked 21st, I believe, so I don't know how it all really works. I'm real happy to get the finish. I was the first person ever to finish Andrew Craig, and he's fought some pretty tough dudes. So, it's good for me. I think it puts me up there. I think it establishes me here in England, and people know I'm serious now, Joe Silva matched me up against a pretty tough guy for someone coming off the upper fighter at 6-0. So I think, I'm here to stay, and I think people know that now.
Yeah, I got a question for Dana. Alessio Sakara, with 4 straight losses, what's next for him?
I don't know. I think that's his 4th straight loss in the UFC, and we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't make those kind of decisions tonight, so we'll figure it out.
Dana, just down here. Another fight tonight, another eye poke. How close are we to designing the gloves? What stage are we at? Is there a timetable for them actually being rolled out?
We're in a horrible stage. I mean, think about how do you design a glove where guys can punch and grapple and not poke people in the eye? I mean, even with boxing gloves back in the day, for a long time, guys were getting thumbed in the eye, and they had to redesign the attached thumb to the glove. It just, we're not even close to designing a glove that'll keep from eye pokes. The answer to this question is keep your damn hands closed. When you're, I understand your defense in tight, but as your hands start to extend, you got to close your hands. I mean, I know it's not an answer, but it's the only one I got.
Hey Dana, it's James here from the MMAshow.info, just in front of you.
Yep.
Just in our country, Scotland, it's been a massive week with Robert Whiteford getting the debut, and the whole country's been behind him. I know it didn't go to plan, but he's going to get another fight, right? And you're going to come to Glasgow soon, because we all want it, and you're not going to have to give away tickets in Glasgow.
People keep talking shit about this giving tickets away thing. We did a $1.5 million gate. That's what the Jones title fight did. Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen did that gate. We killed it here in Manchester, just like we always do. People always like to bring up all this negative shit like we didn't do well here. $1.5 million in Manchester, England? Yeah, that doesn't suck. Where is Garry Cook? Where are you, Garry Cook?
Right here.
Glasgow? You want to answer this man's question, please?
We'll be in Glasgow within the next 18 months.
Next 18 months.
Thank you.
Dana?
You heard it from the man.
Dana, over to you.
Yes. Okay, I can hear you. What do you got?
There's been rumours in the pro wrestling community lately about a UFC fighter, and it's not known if it's past or present, to be in talks with the WWE. Can you confirm or deny these?
I have no idea. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. It's good for them. These guys got to make money when they leave here too. Yeah, it's all good. I don't know who he is though. If he used to fight with the UFC, he ain't calling me up and asking for permission to go into WWE.
And there has been in the past 24 hours about the Bellator with Tito, and I saw your tweet saying
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Yeah,
I can see you really.
Yeah, it breaks my heart. Couldn't happen to a better bunch of guys.
Yes. Sorry for jumping in. You've said before, just recently, obviously the roster's really busy, you're stacked, you've got too many fighters, but Garry mentioned the other day, you're looking at doing between 12 and 16 events a year in Europe, in this kind of region. What kind of percentage of a bolster to the roster do you think you'll be able to get over here, as in bringing in more Euro guys?
Yeah, well, no, we didn't do it yet. The difference is we're talking about next year coming in and doing that. And the way that the contracts work is, all these guys that are sitting up here right now are under contract. They have whatever their fights are, 3 fights, 4 fights, 8 fights. They have that many fights that we have to get in a certain amount of time. So we have to get these guys those fights in a certain amount of time, or we have to pay them. Paying them isn't the issue. The real issue is keeping guys active. That guys can consistently keep fighting 3 times a year without having to wait longer. So that's the real issue. So when he opens up these fights and we start doing all these fights over here, we will start to sign more guys. We'll get them under a contract where we know we're going to have fights, and then we can we can deliver.
Yeah, so that work from Camira that this. You have 2 questions there. First of all, next time you're going to come back to England, it's going to be in London. Do you have any updates on exactly when you're going to come back?
8th of March.
8th of March.
Second question, there's been a lot of talks about you coming back to Sweden in February or April. Do you have any updates about that?
That fight's probably going to be in London.
What do you
Yep.
mean?
Well, it'll be between Gustafsson and Little Nogueira
Okay.
here in London. Well, there in London, not here in London.
Who you want to face now?
Oh, there he is. Right on cue. Go ahead, start talking, they'll get it. Get in there, yep.
Hi.
There you go.
I don't know. I don't know. My boss is on my side. He can decide. No?
What was the question?
Who he wants to face?
He said he wants to fight Vitor Belfort. That's what he said.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Extra question now that Alex is here. Alex, you're facing Lil Nog. What's your opinion about that? There's been a lot of talk about you facing Cormier, and now you're facing stand-up guy Lil Nog in London.
Well, I'm super excited to fight in London, and I've been fighting there before, and I'm really excited to fight there again. And for Lil Nog, we're supposed to fight way back, but we didn't, and now I have the chance to fight him again, and I'm really looking forward to it. He's a great stand-up striker, and yeah, a really good opponent.
One last question: will a win over Lil Nog be a definite title?
It's definite. He's got the shot, yeah. He beats Lil Nog, and John Jones wins his fight against Teixeira. That will be the next fight. It'll be the rematch. It's actually kind of weird. Vitor hasn't called me yet, isn't it?
This is a question to Jimmy. Jimmy, 2 questions. First off, will you accept your new name, Jimi Manuwa? Secondly, there is one opponent who I feel will actually stand and bang with you and see it through to fruition. How does Thiago Silva sound to you?
Whoever the UFC decides for me to fight, my manager, Dana White, everything like that. I don't turn down fights, I don't back down and everything, so whoever they say I'll train and I'll fight them.
Yeah, and during his fight, I was texting with Joe Silva, and I said to Joe, it's time to take this kid to the next level. You know, get him over fighting in the United States and get him a big fight with somebody. I don't know who.
I mean, just on that, Dana, it's kind of like well documented that you like to match up fights yourself. Just realistically for Jimmy, how far away from actually getting into title contention would you say he is? Obviously not now, but in your mind, what sort of like forming as a pitcher?
Obviously, after you break into the top 5, you know, but in this sport, anything can happen. So it's not like we haven't been doing guys in the top 8, top 9 that get big fights, you know, so anything can happen. Who's next?
Dana.
Yep.
John Lineker.
What's up, buddy?
You know he missed weight, and he's very impressed with him. What do you think of that? What are you going to do with John Lineker? Do you go down the weight?
He said, the question is, John Lineker, what, you know, the kid missed weight again. What's the plans with this guy? What are we going to do? We're going to have him move up to 35 or stay at... Dan Lambert, for those of you that don't know who he is, he runs the American Top Team down in Florida. He's probably one of the best guys in the sport and has been since before we owned this company. And he hit us up tonight and said, let's get this kid down to Florida training, get him on the Dolce diet, and make sure that this kid can cut weight. So I mean, if he's so good, if he had made weight in his last, you know, the 3 times that he missed, he'd probably have a title shot right now. So he's going to get him sorted out. Yep.
Alan Murphy, WOW TV here at the back here, Dana.
Yep.
Question aimed at you and Norman Park. Norman, we seen you on Twitter tweeting at Dana about a certain Harley Davidson. Would you two like to clear it up while in the room now at the moment?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What happened?
Wrong place, wrong time.
What, he wants a Harley Davidson?
Yeah, he feels that
because he won tough, he didn't get it.
Now that he's 3-0.
Well, unfortunately, Harley Davidson didn't sponsor that show. But the fact that he, you know, wants a Harley Davidson. He's saying it. They're good people. We'll see what happens.
And secondly, Dana, what did you think of Norman's performance tonight?
I thought he looked great tonight. You know, I thought he picked him apart, and you know, he had a tough kid who was undefeated, and he looked great. Really good.
Dana?
Yep.
Down here?
Yep.
To your right?
Yep. I can hear you, brother. Go ahead, talk.
Michael Bisping said earlier this week that he would like to face the winner of Munoz versus Machida. I know you just said you like Machida versus Belfort, but does that fight interest you at all?
Yeah, well, here's the thing about, listen, I love that kid. I love Mike Bisping. He's out for 6 months. He's out for 6 months. If you see in his eye, yeah, his eye is a mess. So he's going to be out for a while.
He believes he'll be back in the in March in London.
He believes in what the doctor believes are two different things, okay? When he becomes a doctor, then I'll start listening to what Mike Bisping thinks about his eye.
Question for Lyoto.
Yeah.
Fantastic finish, and you held back at the end when Mark was down. Would you have held back for anybody, or was it because Mark was your friend?
The question was, for Lyoto Machida, you held back when Mark went down. You didn't hit him again. Would you have done that for anybody else, or was it just because he was your friend?
They did. They did it.
Time to go? I gotta go to Abu Dhabi, everybody. Take care. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the support. We appreciate you. Get up here, big guy.
No, because when I fought against Bader, almost the same thing, happened. When I saw Bader on the ground, I stopped my punch and I didn't. I'm fair play.
Luke, over here, right from you. Did you see on Twitter about Chris Camozzi after I spoke to you the other day? He said that you should get over this fight first, and now since you've got over this fight in devastating fashion, is Chris Camozzi on your list now?
Chris Camozzi said actually that Andy Craig was going to knock me out with a head kick.
Yeah, he did.
So you know, just to clear that out. Camozzi is who I asked for. It's who I asked Joseph for this fight. I got Andrew Craig and I beat him pretty impressively. I'd love to fight Chris Camozzi. You know, I think we just match up very well. He's tall, he's a striker. It'll be an entertaining fight for the fans. But you know, whoever I'm giving, I'll fight. But Chris Camozzi is definitely on the list.
Ross, just describe your emotions after that time. Terribly frustrated.
Yeah, I'm super disappointed. Yeah, I'm super disappointed. Start again. Yeah, mega disappointed. The fight was just getting warmed up. It was looking like it was going to be an amazing fight. I felt great in there. Everything was going to plan. You know, we were scrapping it out. Got caught in transition, and unfortunately accidents happen. You know. I never felt hurt, I never got rocked. It wasn't a knee, what was like an impact, what hurt us, it was just like a cut knee. And yeah, unfortunately, I asked the referee to keep going, and the doctor, said no, it was too deep. I've had 32 stitches in my forehead. So yeah, pretty disappointed. More so for the hard work that I put into the camp, and wanted to come back to England and show the fans how much I've improved, you know, and it was just meant to be my homecoming, you know, and just disappointed the fans didn't get to see the fight that it should have been. Definitely, man, definitely. Me and Melvin, we both respect each other. He's a great fighter. I don't hold any grudge against him, you know. If it was me in that position, I would have probably done the same thing, you know. I don't think he done it on purpose. It was just one of them things while we were scrapping it happened. Unfortunately, I was on the other end of it.
Yep.
Mark, just a question for Mark. Can't see. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the finish of that fight, how you felt when you took a big kick, were you completely out, and were your emotions following the fight? Where do you think that leaves you?
Yeah, I had my hand up, but snuck in and found myself on the ground. So yeah, he got me, and you know, I mean, it's a knockout. He executed really well. I was going to his power side, and he he landed a kick. So I don't know where it takes me. I'm just gonna go back, work harder. This is another adversity I'm facing, but hey, you know, that's what builds champions. Champions face adversity. It's how you look at it. So, you know, life isn't 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. So I just gotta keep pushing through this.
Lyoto, somos de México, de Multimedios Televisión. Me gustaría que nos contestes en portuñol. ¿Ok? ¿Cómo te sentiste, Lyoto, de haber vuelto a la senda del triunfo después de haber tenido una controversial decisión en tu pelea pasada en Brasil? Ahora vienes a Inglaterra, sales con una victoria y con un gran knockout. ¿Cómo te sentiste?
Eu fiquei feliz com a vitória, mas assim, ao mesmo tempo, eu queria que essa vitória não fosse dessa forma com o Mark, entendeu? Eu não queria machucar o Mark, porque a gente é amigo, mas como profissional, eu tenho que dar o meu melhor ali dentro. Então foi o que aconteceu. Eu fiquei muito feliz porque vim de uma luta contra o Phil Davis muito controvérsia, onde muita gente achou que eu ganhei e tudo, até o Dan White falou, mas o resultado não foi da forma que a gente quis.
The question was, coming off a controversial loss in Brazil against Phil Davis, how is it getting the win tonight here in England? And Lyoto says it felt good to get the win. Unfortunately, it was against Mark, who's a close friend. He didn't want to hurt him. But it was a good win, and especially coming off that controversial loss that a lot of people thought he won against Phil, it was good to win tonight.
Gary, just down here to your right. Dana's just announced that Gustafsson will fight Garry in London. Are there any other fights announced for the card that you want to reveal?
Yep, I think we'll put this matchmaking thing's getting pretty easy, so we'll put Melvin and Ross back together again in London on March 8th. Thank you. Anybody else? You've forgotten the question.
When you get to back, so you've got Gustafsson London show, which is your big fight, really hot right now. And we've got a lot of complaints in the UK that we're not getting big fights, so obviously this is a really big fight there. What's kind of going on with the UK shows right now in terms of getting big fights, big fights?
Well, we've been public this last week, as you well know. We've been talking about growing the business, developing the amount of fighters, giving fans more access to more fights. There's nothing's changed on that. When you do something, when we've got the fan base that we have, and you've seen it again tonight here in Manchester, we're never short of people who want to see great fighters. The demand's there, and Lorenzo and Dana manage all that. As you know, I've been public with that before. I'm in there a year. It's not my job to matchmake. My job is to grow the business and show people in Las Vegas that what you guys want to see. And my job is just to request it. Good news is right now they keep answering the call. So if you keep up the great work, I can keep asking, and they'll keep coming up with the great fights.
Long may it continue. You've got, I think, 6 events in the sort of European series that's going to come in next year. Any idea what the split's going to be between UK and the rest of Europe, and what sort of locations in Europe?
Yeah, UK, I think, well, actually, UK next year is London. So we're looking at London, Ireland, Malmo, Lodz in Poland, Istanbul in Turkey, Berlin. I think that was 6. So, and the question isn't how many we do, it's how many we say we can't do, because I've got another 5, 6 countries, cities that want UFC, because these guys are what they want to see, right? People always, Dana always says to me, you know, people are tweeting about the card, this card, that card, that card. At the end of the day, the UFC business and the fighters have earned the right to be a UFC fighter. That's good enough for any nation in this world, as far as I'm concerned, and we'll keep building that. And these guys showed again tonight that they are what we want to see. That's what we're in this business for.
Question for Luke. You predicted during the week the outcome and the method. I guess you owe Napoleon Hill a pint. How strongly do you believe in visualization, and how key was it to your victory tonight?
Well, what you think about, you bring about, and I definitely did that. I said it was going to be a right hand. It was a submission that won me the fight, but I think the right hand definitely is what actually got me the victory twice, even though I celebrated twice. But you know, 2 knockouts and a submission in one night is not too bad.
And just 2 quick ones. One for Norman. You said you finally, it seems like you're coming out of your shell this week. You're more comfortable talking to the press. 3-0 now in the UFC, it must feel great.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome, man. 1-2. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I'm just getting into my groove, you know. The first round was a little bit tentative. After the first round I hit my corner saying push the pace, you know, you get too much for this guy, get into my groove, was slipping and countering, but I wanted to get that finish, you know. But you know, I'm happy I got the win, 3-0, moving up that ladder. It's a tough stag, the whole lightweight division stag, you know, but I'm here till the end. There ain't no stopping me right now, you know.
And finally for Garry, you've seen some great talent come out of Europe in the last few years, Norman Parke for example. And is there anything, Sean Shelby and Joe Silva are obviously very busy men, is there anything being done scouring Europe in terms of talent perhaps, because they have a lot of on their plate matching fights?
Yeah, when I joined the business a year ago, just over a year ago, there were 6 people working on the EMEA UFC business. In fact, not all of them were working on the UFC EMEA business, they were travelling around the world. By the end of December, we'll have 12 people working on the EMEA business. One of those will be a matchmaker here in Europe. That person will be responsible for identifying talent around the world, in EMEA. And we've got countries that have wonderful talent that is untapped right now. So you'll see more and more talent come from this region.
Hi Garry. Garry, over here. Two.
Sorry.
Yeah, you've been quite aggressive in laying out your plans for expansion in Europe, but do you feel that a tough or a format of that kind to get into sort of hearts and minds of a bigger audience is something you need to go alongside or more shows?
Yeah, I mean the model's pretty simple. I'm not reinventing the wheel. You know, I'm copying a script that's already written. Tough was one of the core assets that grew this business and created some of the great fighters. Michael Bisping was supposed to be on the card tonight. You know, was one of the early winners. So Norman, you know, again, it's great fighters. We're endowed with them. It's great. They're all coming from Ultimate Fighter. We've never had an Ultimate Fighter in EMEA. One that we can say we own. It would be professionally foolish and naive to think that we would continue on that path.
Garry, down here to your left. To your left.
Sorry.
Hey, bud.
Sorry.
Obviously, you guys took a hit when Bisping fell off the card. The main event, the way it finished, seemed to make up for that to the fans here, but I think a lot of them seem to be thinking that Ross and Melvin was kind of their main event, at least for a local guy on the show. So as you guys are watching how that co-main event finished, what kind of goes through your head there? Is there a point where you're concerned with how the fans are responding to that? Here they've lost Bisping from the show and now they're really starting to lose it in the co-main?
Yeah, of course, but in asking that question you were probably thinking the same. So that's the sport that we're in. I mean, I don't think anybody got up this morning. I don't think Ross Pearson got up this morning thinking, I hope I get a cut in the first round of this game. That's not what we do. That's not what this sport's all about. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. Now, would the fans have wanted more? I don't know. I think there were 13 fights on the card, so there's plenty of action. This sport can go either way, as you well know.
And then real quick for Mark. Mark, I was wondering if you could maybe take us through what you and Lyoto talked about right after the fight, if you remember any of that.
Yeah, we basically just hugged one another, and he basically said sorry, and I was like, it's okay, it's part of the sport, you know. So you know, we promised that, you know, winner's gonna buy dinner, so he's gonna buy me dinner sometime. So yeah, so we'll just continue training, and you know, we're both professionals, and this is what we do.
Okay, 2 more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys.
MMA Studio from Norway. Tonight it was another Swedish success, and you were talking about increasing the market in Sweden. Any thoughts of putting a Norwegian guy in that card in Sweden?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, again, we're hiring somebody in the staff in Europe to identify the talent. If the talent's good enough to be on the card, they'll be on the card.
Thank you.
One more.
Gustafsson, Orange Sport Television from Poland. So I have a question about Poland. Do you know something more about UFC event in Poland in 2014? Is it real?
Yes, it's Lodz in Poland. I haven't got the exact date, and I think it's either September or October. I can get that date for you before you leave, but it's Lodz in Poland.
Which city?
L-O-D-Z, Lodz. Oh, sorry.
Łódź.
Sorry, my Polish escaped me for a moment. Just want to say a couple of thank yous. I want to thank, in particular, all of the fighters. They are what we are. They make what we are. Without them, we aren't anything. So that's the first thing. Thank you very much, guys. You're absolutely fantastic. Lyoto Machida for stepping in place of Michael Bisping. Our sympathies go out to Michael. I know he's devastated not to have fought tonight. I'd like to thank all the staff for putting on another great event here in the UK. And I want to say that this region is alive. It is more than well. It will build and it will grow. You will see more and more action only if you keep reporting, telling great stories about this wonderful sport. With that, I'll say have a safe journey home, travel safely, and we'll see you in London. Thank you very much.